All right. One thing, our final is next Friday, a week from today, the 30th of April, from 5 o'clock to 6:50 p.m. It will not be a test. We'll be doing it on Teams, just like now, and everybody is required to be there. All right, we'll talk about that uh, a couple more times today. First off, the first code word today is Argus. All right. Let's see. Is Alyssa here?
Yeah, here.
Great. Is Delane here? Is James? Sage?
Sage Gurney is here.
Excellent. How about Hazel?
I'm here.
How about Hayden?
I'm here.
Super. Emily?
Here.
How about Emery? Is Brinley here?
Brinley is here.
All right. Cassidy?
Right here.
Excellent. Kayana? How about Taylor? Sage Sagers? Michael, I see you. Is Karen here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Excellent. How about Keely?
I'm here.
All right. And Evan, I see you. How about Hillary?
I'm here.
All right. Now, who has presentations to share with us today? PowerPoint or tools of artistic critique? Because for the Thursday people, this will be the last time to do any of that because you guys, we're not going to meet again until the final. And the Tuesday people, we will have one more day to meet, but that's it. Have you guys gone to the YouTube channel to look at the things that have been put up regarding the critiques and everything? I think there's been some really good critiques that are recorded. Who still has their critiques to do?
I still have to do mine for another person, but I think I'm going to do a recording of that one.
All right. Anybody else?
I got to do mine, but I'm just going to record them.
Okay. I appreciate that. And who has PowerPoints to do still? Okay. You guys want to record those as well? Okay. I think that'll be really good. That'll be a good resource for future students. And who has service learning project presentations to do?
I do. I have a question about that. I won't be finished with it in time to share with the class. So I know that I need to record it, correct? But, oh, sorry, go ahead.
You can share, well, everything has to be turned in by May 6th in order to get credit for everything. The presentation, I would really appreciate it if you would just record it so I could put it onto our channel. I think that would be really great. If you want to tell people about it, that'd be super. But when is it going to be all done?
Probably right up until the deadline, May 6th.
Okay, because the reality, have you already been doing stuff? Have you already gotten some feedback?
Yeah.
Okay, because you can do a presentation about it at any point you want to now that you're starting to get feedback. and share also what you expect to have finished when you're all done. And then the final reflection write-up, you can do that when everything's all over.
But during our so the only other time that we're meeting is during our final next week. But could I present during that time, or are we going to be busy the whole time?
You could just record your presentation for the YouTube channel, because I think for that our final, we may not have time to do a whole lot of in-person presentations.
Okay.
I say in person with air quotes. But what I am saying is that if you are like 3/4 done and you know how the rest of it is going to boil out in the next week, you can record just a 3-minute video of you talking about where you are right now and what you expect to have happen. And then just finish up the last little thing at the very end.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. I noticed that some people are also doing their turning in their opinion essays about the artists that they picked for research. The ones that I've read so far have been really good. That kind of surprises me because most of us artists aren't famed for our writing. So I'm really pleased that you guys are doing such a good job on those. The second code word today is boredom. I also wanted to mention 2 other things again. I sent out emails today. First is who has gotten their SRI links? Has any? I would double check your email, because if you turn in your SRI and you send me a screenshot of or just an image of the receipt for having taken it, you will get 2% extra credit added onto your grade. And that's usually enough to bring like a D- to a full D, you know, or better. And also, if you have entered any shows this semester, whether or not you've gotten in, if you've entered any shows, tell me that as well, and you will get an extra 1% of credit. And we already have a couple people that have told me about that. Only one person has emailed me so far, so make sure you email me and show me that receipt just as soon as you can. All right? And if you haven't gotten it, double check your spam, check all your email, and make sure you get the SRI thing. The school really likes those. I thought there were going to be like 3 or 4 volunteers to do their presentations today. And so I didn't have an awful lot planned other than those. But if we don't have any more presentations, I would like to field questions. You've been getting feedback on your things that you've turned in and stuff like that. Does anybody have any questions about the last few assignments? One thing I did want to clarify before we get into that too much is for the people doing the research project, there are 2 PowerPoint turn-in bits in that module 7.c. The first one is worth 40 points. The second is worth 10 points. The 40-point one, that's where you send me the file that is your PowerPoint presentation with your narration over it so I can put it on YouTube. The 10-point one, after I put that on YouTube, I will send you a link to it. That's where you send me the link. And the reason I do that is that we have mirrored points with the service learning people. And that's pretty much the only reason. But it's also, I want to make sure that you guys share that link, have that link so you can share it with people and get those 10 views. And we haven't had any problem getting the 10 views so far, for the most part. But I think there are only, let's see. I think for this class, right now we only have 1 PowerPoint or 2 PowerPoint presentations that are up for this class. So it's important to get those done as quick as you can. I would really like to have those all done before the final if possible. But regardless, like I've said before, everything is due by May 6th. Does anybody know what you do if you try to get on Canvas and they shut it down and you still have assignments to turn in? What are you supposed to do?
Quit school, give up, and go live on an island. I don't know. It's not worth it at that point.
Yeah, put a bag over your head and bury your head in the sand. No, if that happens, just put the file and email them directly to me. I still have access to Canvas. I will go in, I will enter the scores and everything, and it'll figure up your grades, and you'll be fine. So I don't want anybody to freak out or panic. I've said that several times, but I want to keep saying it because it doesn't matter how many people come to the class and how many times I say that. I always have at least 3 people that totally freak out because Canvas shuts down, and I don't want you guys to do that. All right, is Delane, did she make it? Or James? How about Emery? Kayana? Taylor? Sage Sagers? They still aren't here? All right. Okay, let's open the door then. Questions. Do you have any questions?
Could you repeat the times for the final again?
All right, they are in your syllabus, and I've also double checked with the UVU final exam time calculator. So I've like triple checked it several times. Our final is this next Friday at 5 o'clock to 6:50. I also sent out an email earlier today. I will send out an email when I send this recording to everybody, so you'll get that. And I will also try to send emails at least every other day for the next week so that everybody knows. All right, and the reason I'm doing that is not because I think anybody will forget. It's just that the finals week, this last week, is so hectic for everybody. I want you guys to be able to turn anywhere you need to and find that final time. But that is, again, Friday, April 30th from 5 o'clock to 6:50 p.m. It's not going to be a test. We're just going to be talking about, everybody's going to be sharing something that they learned or got out of this class, pretty much. Or several somethings, if you're so inclined. Any other questions? I'm sorry?
No, I was just saying thank you.
You're welcome. Does anybody have any questions about the assignments?
Can we like redo stuff if we weren't happy with the grade?
Okay, yeah, this is something that I tried to stress too. You can redo an assignment right up to May 6th. If you're not happy with it, if you don't like the score you got on your work log and you need to put in more hours or whatever, you can keep working on it, resubmit it. Usually Canvas will let me know when you resubmit, but I do like to have people email me as well.
Okay, thanks.
So, yeah. What have you guys been doing for the, or how have you guys been doing on the carving? Are those all done for everybody or mostly done? There's been a couple ones that I didn't really get it, and I didn't really see what was going on until you guys finished it, and then it turned out looking really cool. And there's been a few that look pretty okay, but then when the person does their painting techniques and finishing it up, it looks really spectacular. So how many people still need to finish those up?
I do. Mine is like, I don't know. Carving takes a lot of time. So I think I just might have to continue carving right up until it's, the end of class, and then just turn it in as is, even though it will not really be 100% complete.
Well, all you can do is the best you can do. And if I don't know if you'll have access to the building after Wednesday night. So I would say as much as you can, try to get in. Like it should be open tomorrow from about 8 until 8 at night. So you should be able to get in tomorrow. And it should be open next week, all week long. But they might close it or might change the hours after Wednesday. I'm not entirely sure. So, but like I said, all you can do is the best you can do. And you do have until May 6th to finish that up. How about the cocooning project? How are people doing with that?
Could I cocoon a person?
Not me.
Just
One
duct tape
of
somebody to a wall.
one of the coolest things that I've seen people do cocooning with, somebody got several rolls of the 2-inch wide packing tape, and they got some just dollar store saran wrap. They wrapped their arms and their legs in the saran wrap, and put the tape around that. And when it didn't slide off, they just cut the back of it and then taped up the back of it. So they had like a full length, a hip length sock for each foot and a hip length or a shoulder length sleeve for each arm. Then they somehow managed to do the same thing with their torso. And I have no idea how she did it. She managed to do the same thing with her head without suffocating. And that it was very impressive. It was something she said that she had straws in her nose, and it was pretty cool. And so she didn't stuff it when she was all done. She just taped up the back where she had cut it free to pull it off herself, and taped everything together. So it was this floppy, clear cocoon of a hollow person, and it was one of the neatest things I'd ever seen. So yeah, you can definitely do that. And people have done like duct tape clothing even, and that turned out really interesting. I think the big thing for this is to keep in mind uh, we're looking for 10 hours of work on this module. So if you think you finished with the cocooning and you've only put in a half an hour, I would rethink it and just keep working on it. And what's fascinating about that, and most of you from the comments I've been getting from that exercise 13, most of you said that it was interesting when you started, and then as you continued, the thing just changed more and more until it became something that was completely different than what you started with. And I think it would be worth it too, if that's the kind of exercise you're doing, take images while you're going on. I think that could be really cool. I told you guys about the wax on the plaster sculpture, right? Okay, this guy just bought a whole bunch of dollar store candles, Dollar Tree candles, and one at a time he would just melt them over the. It was a kind of a biomorphic abstraction skull that he had done, and it was looked more like an alien skull, and he just melted the candles over this thing one at a time until the candles were completely gone, and this thing was totally encased in wax. He said a couple of times it caught on fire, so it's probably not recommended to do it in your kitchen. But he did this over the course of about 2 weeks, and the thing was just a huge glob of strange wax. Not all of it adhered to the plaster. And what was really cool is he took pictures every couple minutes as the candle was melting, as each candle was melting. So he was able to do a time lapse video that lasted maybe 45 seconds of all this wax melting over the plaster. And it was one of the coolest approaches to this assignment I'd ever seen.
That's a long time lapse video for a bunch of photos.
I don't know what he did. It may have been shorter than that, but it was not very long, but it was super cool. Yeah, that's right. I guess it's 24 images for each second of film?
Something like that, yeah.
And he did about 20
It depends
candles.
on the frame rate, but yeah.
So it must have been a lot shorter than that, but it was pretty cool. Anybody have any interesting ideas that they are currently exploring with their cocooning?
I thought my idea was kind of interesting. I'm taking, those water balloons, the really small ones, the cheap ones that like to explode and stuff. I'm
The ones that are
layering.
exciting? Yeah,
Yeah.
you make a bunch of them to surprise your friends, and they pop in your hands while you're on your way. Yeah.
Yes. My plan is to take those and almost like I'm working on it right now actually, and it's looking a bit like a piñata. Like, because I'm layering them to kind of over each other, almost like scales or fur or something. It's kind of interesting.
That sounds really interesting. Are you attaching the water balloons to something specifically then?
Yes, actually, it's a little So those places where you can go, you get these little ceramic things and you can paint them, and then they'll be put in like and fired for you.
Oh yeah, like the Color Me kind of places.
Color Me Mine,
or
yes. So I'm taking one of the ones I did a very long time ago. So they're not the prettiest things to look at. And I'm covering them with the balloons.
That sounds like it could be really interesting. And it'd be fascinating to put, if you could like fit 100 balloons on that, just go through, put one layer and then put one layer on that and just keep building it up. Even when the balloons pop, I think that would be really interesting. What are anybody else? What are other people doing? Are there any, I noticed there's a couple people that have not turned in assignments that were due like a couple months ago. I would really like you guys to go through your assignment list and just verify that you actually sent something in the Canvas. Because I've noticed I have reset the due dates on several things about 4 or 5 times, and after a couple hours, Canvas will reset it to no due date. And I'll go back and it shows that the due date is there on my side, but it doesn't show up on your side. So go through and look at your to-do list and look at your assignments. Go through each module and look at the assignments and make sure that you get that turned in. And if Canvas doesn't register it, let me know, and you can email it to me directly. People have told me that there's some assignments that show up that are not on the to-do list, but they're not on the they're not in any of the modules either. And I think that those are just ghost assignments. If you can't link it to a specific module, if you can show me, take an image, screenshot of the assignment and send it to me and let me know what's going on. I'll try to get it out of the system so you don't have to do it. The other thing I wanted to ask is, are any of you getting due dates or to-do list stuff for both the research and the service learning? Because you should only be doing one or the other. Okay, good. Because there were a couple of people that I did not clean out of one system when I put them on the other. So if you both of them are showing up again, you only have to do one, not the others. The other thing I'm doing is tonight I'm going through trying to get caught up on grades again, but I will be putting zeros in everything that isn't turned in, not because you don't get any credit for it, but just so that that zero shows up and then you can see, okay, I've got to take care of this and send it in. And again, if one of those zeros shows up for something that you're sure you turned in, just verify that you turn it in, and you may even have to resubmit, and then let me know. We get it covered. You guys have been doing a lot of serious work this semester, and I want to make sure you guys get credit for it. There are a couple cautionary tales, and I was sharing one with one of the students last night, and I found out that the cautionary tale was about him. So I won't share any of those until next semester. But it is important when you do the work, try to get it sent in. Even if you don't get the score that you want, you can always, a couple people last semester, and even this semester too, did not like the score that I gave them. and they talked to me and showed me what their work was in person, and that completely changed it, because a lot of the times the photos do not do something justice. So if that's the case, let me know, and I'm happy to give you a better score and give you the points that you've earned. All right, and I don't want anybody to leave the class dissatisfied because their teacher arbitrarily gave them a 4 grade when we didn't communicate. Anybody else do something fun for one of the cocooning projects or their service learning? Is anybody having issues with their service learning stuff?
Not because of anything to do with myself, really. Just still waiting on, the people I'm trying to work with. So we'll see how it goes.
Okay. This happened in the morning section. There were 2 or 3 people where the people that they were working with just got they did not coordinate with a time scale that was consistent with the needs of our semester. I'll just say that. And what I'm having them do is do the presentation on video, for the homeschool group or the old folks club or whatever it is, and pretend as if they're doing it for the group itself. Because then when the people do get back to them on May 3rd, it's already done and ready to go, but it's also all done for this class. The other thing is, sometimes if you have to shift, if you have to pivot, don't discount all the time you've already put in. All that time you've already put in is valid and needs to be recorded so you get credit for it, even if the end product is not what you were hoping to have delivered from the beginning. Okay, so in your case, Michael, if you're doing the workshop, it might be a good idea, if they're not going to get back to you in the next day, it might be a good idea just to record yourself doing the workshop as if people are with you, and just show all the steps and everything like that. Say, this is what this is why I'm doing this. This is how we're doing it, and everything like that. Because I think you're doing a printing workshop.
Yeah. I just want to do a screen printing workshop with a local youth group.
Well, and I think it'd be totally cool to talk about why you made the choices you did, and how it changed from your original idea, and then walk through the process. So you have these different options. These are the different designs. Then this is each step of the process. And then, regardless of whether or not they get back to you, you still get credit for your work.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, and then the other thing is too, you're immortalized forever and ever, so that whenever that youth group needs to pull out the Michael tapes, they've got the lesson ready to go.
Very true. Yeah, I'll probably start working on that this weekend. I try to have them make sure they get back to me by like tomorrow at the latest. But I know that they've had some stuff, like, because it's just a bunch of groups of like families, stuff with like
Right.
COVID and everything, people trying to stay safe. So they're just trying to work out a lot of the details of that within like their own community, I guess, and see when would be best for that. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I'll definitely start working on making the presentation anyways.
Okay, that sounds good. Yeah, and I think that might even, if families are concerned about COVID, they might appreciate having access to the presentation anyway.
Yeah,
So,
for sure. Yeah.
that's good. I think the hardest thing about the service learning thing is coupling your own abilities with what people actually want. Like in the video, it showed the prom dresses that have been sent to hurricane survivors. I think that's particularly awesome. One concern that I had too, given to me earlier, was somebody could not find enough information on their artist to do 8 sources in their bibliography. And I just told them to pick another artist. And if that's what you need to do, that's what you got to do. And then another person couldn't find enough references, and so he got creative, actually contacted the artist, and the artist gave him a personal interview. I thought that's a pretty good way to work the system. Nice way to make your own annotated bibliography reference. If we don't have any more presentations or anything, I would like everybody to give me a pinky promise that you're going to spend the rest of the time for our time together looking at those presentations on our YouTube channel, and record and send me your application of the tools of artistic critique, as well as the other videos you need to. See if you guys can send those to me, as many as possible by the by tomorrow night, then I can get as much of them up by the Monday or Tuesday as I can. But if you guys could do that, I would really appreciate that. But if we don't have any more presentations to give today, then I think that this will be just an abbreviated session together. And the third code word is actually two words. One of my favorite movies, Get Shorty. All right, Danny DeVito acting tough. What could be better? So does anybody have any final questions before we split for the night? All righty then. One last, I don't think, has anybody joined us in the last 10 minutes? Because you guys are all the same people.
It doesn't look like it.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it. All righty then. If you guys need anything, give me an email. Let me know. Tuesday, we will be meeting for the Tuesday group. The Thursday people, we do not have any more meetings this semester. And could I have 3 people tell me when the final is?
Friday.
Friday.
5 to 6.
At 5 to 6:15.
Excellent. Very good. All right, then. You guys have a great weekend. And I will talk to y'all later. I'm turning off the recording.
Thank you.
Thank you.